Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where I've got another Marvel Champions gameplay video for you today. If you like what you saw, please check out the description for other YouTube creators making content for Marvel Champions. Now let's take a quick look at the deck before I go down to the table and do villain setup. Alright, this was already a thematic game. It's Wolverine versus Sabretooth. But I wanted to increase that theme by using only cards which came in X-Men products. So no core set, but I do have Mutant Genesis, Age of Apocalypse, and each of the X-Men hero packs. With my allies, they are always going to come in, do the thing they do, and then defend. And that's because I'm using my hit points to pay for attack events, right? I don't want to take a big hit on top of playing full-bodied charge or lunging strike. So they're here to help me preserve my hit points. Beak is going to remove some threat and then thwart and before defending. Forge finds my X-Jet, X-Mansion, or Utopia, attacks or thwarts, and then defends. Marrow deals 2 when she enters play, attacks for 2, and then she defends. Professor X is interesting because most of the time you confuse the villain with Professor X. If I feel like I need to flip down to Alter Ego, I will do that, but it's way more spicy to attack with Wolverine, play Professor X to ready me, and then attack with Wolverine again. Of course, the math changes there when you have Utopia in play because that could also ready me. I could do both if that's in play. Professor X confuses the villain, and Utopia readies me. Triage heals 2 damage, attacks or thwarts, and then defends. Now, Clobber is basically free. It costs 2, but I'm going to pay for it with my claws. So take 2 damage, deal 3 damage to an enemy. I'm hopefully only ever going to do this when it's the first card I've played for a round, so I get it back to hand. So I've not lost any cards from hand, and at the beginning of my next turn, I'm going to heal those 2 that I used to play Clobber. Basically free. Full Body Charge are basically extra copies of Lunging Strike. They both deal 8 damage, and I'm paying for both of these with my claws. Now, Lunging Strike gets overkill because I used my claws. Full Body Charge only gets overkill if I'm at less than my starting hit points. And that might happen taking 4 damage, so that's something to think about. But they're both going to get piercing because I'm using my claws, and that's all I really care about. 8 with piercing is pretty spicy. Mutant Education has several cards it can target. Shuffle identity-specific cards from my discard pile back into my deck. Lunging Strike is an obvious one. The healing might be one that I want to reshuffle. Track by Scent is super spicy. And this Berserker Frenzy is really interesting, because after I flip to Alter Ego, I have to discard this. If I have a Mutant Education in hand, I feel less bad about that because I can immediately shuffle it right back into the deck. And then, if I have X-Mansion, while it is slim, there is a non-zero chance that I could immediately draw it straight back with X-Mansion. I'm not going to count on that. I'm not saying, hey, this is the combo the deck works on. But it is possible I could get it straight back. Keep Up the Pressure only has 2 threat, and that means Wolverine can thwart it by himself. He has a thwart of 2, he can clear it, and it will always go find Lunging Strike. Lunging Strike is the better of the options here because it only is going to deal 3 damage to me to play it. Now, with Keep Up the Pressure, it is actually going to deal 9 damage instead of only 8. So 8 plus 1. Energy Genius Strength. I am running 2 copies of Power in All of Us because I have 8 cards that can use it, and that is the threshold I like to be at. 5 basic allies and my 3 basic supports. Downtime. What's better than a recovery of 6, a recovery of 8, but I hope to never get low enough that I really need 8 recovery. It's here and would be nice if I need it, but I hope I don't need it. Endurance gives me plus 3 hit points on top of the 4 hit points I get from Adamantium Skeleton. So just increasing the hit points for the same reason. I'm using them for damage. I need to preserve them in other ways. All right, one card I want to talk about that isn't in here is Aggressive Conditioning, and that's because it's not part of this this card pool. It is not as good as Adamantium Skeleton, and Adamantium Skeleton should be better because it's an identity-specific card. This costs 2, where Aggressive Conditioning costs 3. This gives me 4 hit points, where the Aggression card only gives me 3. And this gives me Piercing on top of the +1 attack, where Aggressive Conditioning only gives me the +1 attack. I say that because if that card was in this card pool, I would also use it. I also don't get combat training for this deck because I'm not using core. So just something to think about. There is a reason those cards aren't in here, and that's because I was focusing, this is Wolverine X Focus, on X-Men products. So that's the deck. Let's go set up Sabretooth and see how I do. All right, 1A puts Find the Senator into play and Robert Kelly. Let's give this a shuffle. I really like Sabretooth as a villain to rush down for 2 reasons. Number 1, you do have to worry about the damage there. So threat on the main does end up mattering. Also, he has Healing, which can slow you down, and Mystique can really slow you down. So some things that get in the way of rush, I think that makes a really fun rush attempt. You're not just trying to get through his hit points. You're trying to get through his hit points while possibly protecting the Senator, while hoping Mystique doesn't come out. I think that's fun. I'll take Slice and Dice, but I would rather have, ooh, there's some interesting stuff. I'd rather have a Lunging Strike. Slice and Dice is 6 damage, though. And then Regenerative Healing can just heal me right back. Can I get, the problem here is I want to play Track by Scent and Marrow. Track by Scent, assuming I'm going to clear that, draws me 2 cards. And if one of them is a double, that helps me. I also have other things I need to do here. I'd love to go ahead and get X-Mansion into play, but I don't think that's going to happen either. Let's maul these, see if I can get a double. Okay, Full Body Charge with Slice and Dice is interesting. Or rather, with Regenerative Healing is interesting. I did not get any doubles, though. Let's flip up. I'm going to thwart 2 and do 1, 2 for Track by Scent. It's going to remove 3. If it removed the last 3, I draw 2 cards. Hey, I got a double. Now this flips over and becomes Reminder. He's my buddy. We go to 2A, which says I get an encounter card, and this flips. All right, let's do 2 for Marrow, who deals 2 when she comes in, and attacks for 2. I'm going to use Claws, take 4 damage to play Full Body Charge. It's going to deal 8, taking him down to 1. And I will use this to play Regenerative Healing to get me back to max. Let's ready and draw. Okay, Lunging Strike, Utopia. It's always going to be free. That might come down. All right, 1 goes on the main. He's attacking, and I will... Let's see, I don't want him to heal above 2. That's the thing. I'm going to defend, and I can't do anything about that. I'm just talking. 2, 3, 4. I do take 2 damage. He heals 0. That's very nice. That means Marrow can knock him out. 2 encounter cards. First one is an advance. He schemes for 1, 2, and then heals. Come on, 0, 2. Well, there goes that plan. Best laid plans. Then he attacks. And I want to keep Marrow, so I'm going to let him take 1, 2, 3, discard a card at random. So he takes 3, and I discard a card at random. Power and All of Us, which was going to play Utopia. I can still play Utopia, but I wanted to get that Keep Up the Pressure down. All right. Oh, and then he heals 3 more. So now he's at 6. Now I might as well Lunging Strike, right? Even though I'm basically losing the piercing. Well, let's put down Keep Up the Pressure. Oh, I do heal 2 at the top of the round. Take 3 damage to play Lunging Strike, knocking him out. Now he comes back with 15 and a tough. I think I'm just going to have Marrow knock that tough off. You know what? I don't need Marrow to do that because an event paid for with that will do that. So I'm going to hold on to both of these and ready. Okay, Beak will come in handy. Jubilee, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I could win on this turn. Of course I won't because I said that. 1 goes on. He's attacking for 2. And let's see. It won't be... He's not going to get 4 boost, but I'm going to have Marrow defend. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. She's defeated. And then he would heal 1. 1 encounter card, no whammies. This would attach to a minion, otherwise it gains Surge. Shuffle this into my deck and it gains Surge. Into Caught Off Guard. I don't have anything to discard, so it gains Surge into this. Him gaining Piercing is not something I'm concerned with. All right, this gets shuffled in, and after it enters my hand, discard an ally or support I control. That would be scary because he right now is my only ally. I think the game is over, though, because I'll heal 2. I will use the claws and take 3 damage. Play Lunging Strike. It's going to be 8 with Piercing. Taking him down to 7. See, that doesn't do anything else. No, it doesn't give him Retaliate or anything. He has 7 hit points. I will do 1, 2 for Jubilee, naming Sabretooth. After Jubilee enters play, choose an enemy. Until the end of the phase, Wolverine and Jubilee get +2 attack when they are making attacks against him. So she attacks for 3, and I attack for 4 and knock him out. That went a little bit longer than I expected it to, a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I got the win in the end. And let's see, he would have had 8 damage if we were still on stage 1. So sometimes, even when you don't want to, you need to find and protect the Senator. So that's the game, super thematic, Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Linked down in the comments section, in the pinned comments, I have added the episode where Steggy and I talk about Sabretooth in our Villain of the Week series. Go check that out. I think it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a marvelous day.